What's up, guys? I don't know what day it is. It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. We've got some research to do. Big slate tonight, a ton of pitching, but there's not a ton of pitching. I don't get it. Like, how do we have literally every team in the league playing, and I can't really feel good about more than, like, two pitchers? So, hopefully, we can do a little bit of research here and uncover some diamonds in the rough. That's kind of the plan today. Couple stacks stood out, but as we dig a little deeper here and dive into some metrics, maybe some more fun Cinderella stacks. You guys know the drill, man. These research streams, I haven't looked at ownership or anything like that. This is really just trying to identify my favorite actual matchups and what the knee-jerk reaction is on what I want to be exposed to. But yeah, kind of a slow start. I don't know why. I don't know why it's such a slow start. But what up, Josh? I did just see that DM, so I will get back to you after the stream. It went to my request folder, and that happened to me the other day. I had like 3 in the request folder for over the weekend. And I'm not trying to Hollywood people. I just didn't know. Like, sometimes I don't get a notice on my. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't get a notice that I have a unread message. But anyway, if we've got time to talk some baseball, we will talk some baseball. What up, Shark? The spoiler. Fun fact about the spoiler, since we're bringing up old wrestling names there, Killa. The spoiler. What's his name? Don. The original one. There was a second one that he kind of allowed the gimmick to be had by the Spoiler 2000, and that was one of my original trainers at General Akbar School. So yeah, what up, dang lazy mofo? Yeah, man, 15 games on the docket today, and I don't know if the Angels have dropped a pitcher yet. I think I had Jose Suarez. Okay, he's a probable. So I don't know. I guess Ohtani's just not going to catch a start in this series. Maybe they're phoning that in. I don't know. But that leaves us with a very thin top of the pitching pool. We got Walker Buehler, who has a tough matchup. Tyler Mahle. Matchup's beatable, but it is a risky ballpark. Zach Wheeler, who seems like he's going to be the best of the best pre-flop and likely the highest own, right? Sean Manaea, I might get there if I can really sell myself on, a Fernando Tatis less Padres, but I still don't get the warm and fuzzies. Lance McCullers against the Dodgers, tough matchup. Blake Snell, I'm good. It gets really rough, so there's a couple names here that, like, on a day by day basis in the right matchups, I really would like. But other than Zach Wheeler, I don't know. I just didn't get the sense that I was going to be confident with whatever I end up with. So let's go game by game here. You guys know the drill. We're brought to you by PrizePicks. If you haven't signed up to PrizePicks, check them out. It is a really, really fun way to diversify your daily DFS spend and also reward your research. Sometimes we're limited to salary caps and we like plays to exceed their expectations, but we can't really fit them in our construction. Well, you can go to prizepicks.com and you can just bet against the projection. And even so, even if they exceed the projection, maybe in DFS they don't win a tournament, but on PrizePicks they can win you a little bit of scratch. They got a little something for everything: baseball, football, basketball, esports, CSGO is on there, NASCAR. They got NFL futures waiting on you right now. So go check that out. If you use code GUNDAGGER when you sign up, you'll get up to a $100 deposit bonus, which means you sign up, you throw a 20 bomb at it, that becomes $40. Instant site credit, no slow drip. Go check that out. Be sure to put Gundacker in the promo. It helps me out too. So you want to show me some love without opening that wallet, man? That's the way to do it. What up, solid picks? I made it on time. You did. You may not come when I call. You're always right on time. Nats hosting the Phillies, man. Let's do this. Zach Wheeler taking on Patrick Corbin. is our first game on the docket. Our implied run total for the Phillies right now 4.6. The Nats 3.5. This morning I'm still on the Phillies as a stack, and their run total being so low is kind of scary, but I'm digging it. Zach Wheeler coming into this game with a 31.7% K rate to lefties, 29% K rate to righties, 2.71 xFIP to righties, and the xFIP to lefties just as good. I mean, he's a really strong pitcher. He's got 2.56 expected ERA on the season. The Nationals, these ain't your daddy Nationals, right? Just Juan Soto to get around for the most part with that 271 ISO. You can sell me on Josh Bell also being a solid play, but man, they are pancaked, surrounded, sandwiched by a bunch of meager bats, man. No ISO other than those two against righties since the beginning of last year really exceeds 115. It's or 120 looks like Luis Garcia. There's a lot of guys hitting for contact and a lot of guys that strike out at an elevated rate, 25% or greater in over half this lineup, including the pitcher spot. So Zach Wheeler definitely in a spot to thrive, and I think pre-flop he feels like the safest pitching option. And I haven't got a pulse for ownerships, but I have to assume he's the highest owned pitcher from where we're standing now. Patrick Corbin pitching for the Nationals. Pretty extreme splits here. 3.11 xFIP to lefties has been okay against lefties the last 3 years. A 0.75 homer per nine to lefties this season. But man, those righty splits are just devastating, and it's dating back to last season. But if we isolate just this season, a 16% K rate, two righties, a 292 average allowed, and a 1.91 home run per nine against righties. This is a back-to-back start against the Phillies, and this last start, it didn't last long, right? So I definitely don't have any inclination to pitch Patrick Corbin here, but I'm on the Phillies as a stack. You look at his last couple games, he's always allowing more hits than innings pitched, throwing a couple walks and bombs. He's had one game in his last four where he didn't give up a bomb. One game in his last seven where he didn't give a bomb. He's going to give up homers and he's going to give up power. So I'm definitely behind the Philly stack today. Names that kind of really stick out. I mentioned JT Realmuto this morning on the stream. I really like this Fanduel price at $3K. $5,200, I get it. $5K for a catcher any given Sunday. That's a tough price. But $3K on Fanduel, I love that price. And, catchers just don't generate the interest from the field that other position players do, because it is a throwaway position from a real life standpoint, right? There's probably like 5 or 6 catchers in the league that really have an impact bat, and JT Realmuto is one of them. He can hit for average, he can hit for power, and he can steal some bases. So I like Realmuto on both sides, but I really like that $3K price point on Fanduel. Bryce Harper might get left out of some Philly stacks just because he's a lefty, but he hits lefties just fine. 281 average allowed to lefties, average to lefties, 246 ISO. So yeah, I'm in on the Phillies here. I would like to see a confirmed lineup. I would like to see Rhys Hoskins in the lineup to feel even better. He did not crack the lineup last night. I'm guessing he's injured. But give me some Phillies here. Not on the Nats, and even if I wanted to grab a bat or two to leverage against the ownership of Zach Wheeler, I mean, past Juan Soto, you really don't sign up with any level of confidence on anybody. So on a 15-game slate, I'm going to really leave the hedge stacking to a low, and I don't think I end up on Nats no matter what. But I'm curious to see where you guys are on a couple of these stacks. Let me get caught up on chat here. Big dude would walk in the top rope. Yeah, Spoiler 2000 would do that too. That's where the Undertaker got that. If we're having wrestling school while having baseball school, this is great. Orioles at the Yankees. This game's a lot different. I tipped some people off last night, man. Go flirt with that over 3.2, 3.5 on the Orioles, because tomorrow it's going to be over 4, and right now it is over 4. Alexander Wells against Luis Gil. So we're going to have to do some digging here. First of all, Luis Gil, I do recognize that name. I think he is the number 6 prospect or pitching prospect for the Yankees. He was solid in Double-A, got called up to Triple-A. His numbers weren't as good, but they weren't bad. He's got a 4.13 ERA in the minors, 4-1 win-loss record, 15 games started, 61 innings pitched with 88 strikeouts and a 1.34 whip. So if you guys didn't catch it, Jesus, loud train is loud. Garrett Cole positive for the big Rona, and it seemed like they were going to turn it to Nestor Cortez, who has been a spot starter for them lately. But today the plans have changed, and they're going to call up Luis Gil, and Gil is going to have a chance, right? He's going to have a chance to go out there and contribute in the minors. 21.2 innings to righties, 38 strikeouts, and 1 homer. So this Orioles lineup, it will have, a couple lefties maybe, Mullins, Santander from the left side, and DJ Stewart. If he can navigate through these righties, there's a chance that he can be a value to this team. I'm assuming the plan is get what you can get from him, but they're not going to expect a ton from a kid in his first start. So, like, if they see that they're happy with at 3 innings or 4 innings, they probably yank him. But in his last start in the minors, he went, his second to last outing, he went 6 innings. In his last start, he didn't last long. Looks like he got shelled for 6 runs. So, I'm probably not gonna. I'm not gonna. I don't know, man. The 4K special is always a curious click because you just get lost in the sauce of the crazy lineups you can make. But I hate betting on minor league pitchers for their first appearance in the show because most of the time it doesn't go well, and it's hard to transfer their AAA numbers to the big leagues. And yeah, and I like 4 innings seems like a realistic expectation. The other thing is, or the other question I got to myself really is Nestor Cortez coming in the middle of the game? Like, he's going to be the bulk guy, or is he somebody that they think has to start again? Because in the Yankees world, Domingo Germán was also put on the 5-day or the 10-day. So you lose Garrett Cole, you lose Domingo Germán, you're down to Jameson Taillon, Jordan Montgomery. Andrew Heaney didn't look great yesterday. And yeah, so you might need 2 guys to fill some spots here. So I don't know, maybe Cortez starts tomorrow or it starts out today. I haven't read verbiage on that. So just thinking out loud there. Anyway, Luis Gil is our pitcher for the Yankees. Alexander Wells, we're going to do some research on him. He is a lefty for the Orioles. He's going to at least open this game for the Baltimore Orioles. I have no big league sample size on him to lean off of, so we're going to go check out his minor league numbers and see if we can't get a tell. In the minors, 19.1 innings against lefties, a 5.12 average, or excuse me, a 5.12 ERA, which is significantly higher than his ERA to righties, but ERA is a weird number. 2.18 average allowed, a 0.98 whip. See, like his other metrics look solid, but when we flip it against righties, a 2.84 average allowed to righties, a 1.31 whip, and the big number here is going to be the home runs, three homers in 23 innings. So usually you like to see one, not like to see, but kind of like the okayness level is 1 homer every 10 innings or so. So he's got 3 in 23. So it looks like he's a little bit higher than you would want, and he has allowed 3 homers to lefties as well. He has a 0.8 ground ball to air out ratio against lefties, 0.68. So it looks like he projects like a fly ball pitcher, especially to righties. That could be a problem, but also to lefties. And the Yankees might have burned everybody yesterday. This might sour a lot of people. But I don't really have a reason to not go back to the well. They have an implied run total of 6.1. And this could be a really fun spot to see how scared the field is of lefty-lefty matchups, because we got an unproven lefty who already has a home run bug, a fly ball bug in the minors, a bullpen that can be beat. And Joey Gallo and Anthony Rizzo, they can hit lefties. Anthony Rizzo hit a moonshot in Miami off a lefty. And I think his splits this year are actually better against lefties than righties. So I wonder how many people would stack the Yankees and maybe get scared off the lefty-on-lefty matchup So I won't. So give me some Yankees here, and you could sign me up for the big death row: Gallo, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton. We saw Stanton actually start in the field yesterday. That was an encouraging sign to see as a Yankees fan. So it tells me that they can rotate people through the DH spot for rest, and hopefully Stanton can be all right. Right now, Stanton's looking god awful at the plate, but Gallo's been looking solid. A lot of full counts, a lot of walks, and a couple doubles his last 2 games. Barely missing bombs. Judge is Judge, and Rizzo's Rizzo. So I do think that the price is obtainable for the Yankees. My favorite 3 to pick would probably be Gallo, Judge, and Rizzo. And then if I get to some LeMahieu, sure, he's $3K on Fanduel. That's probably underpriced for the leadoff guy in a 6+ run total team. And then of course, if he ended up with Stanton, I wouldn't say no, but right now he doesn't look like he's in a groove. So give me some Yankees bats, and no reason not to get to some Orioles, especially if they project low again. Right now their run total is only 4. Which is, against a AAA pitcher, man, a chip in a chair, bloop in a blast. Cedric Mullins, Trey Mancini would be 2 guys I'm pretty interested in. Mountcastle is another guy that did really well yesterday. And then I don't hate Santander. I think 2K on DraftKings. Anthony Santander is probably a really great ratio between opportunity and cost, right? Cleanup guy on the road team against the Yankees. I could get into that. This lineup is not confirmed, but if that's the way it shakes out, that's a really good value, at least in theory. What are you guys doing on this one before we move on? Solid picks. Phillies should mash. Yes, sir. Hope the Phillies smack today and the Braves. I really like the Braves. I am scared of the ballpark. I'm also scared of my history stacking against John Lester. It's a tough one, but my goodness, his metrics are they beg me to stack against him, right? I played Wells versus Detroit last week. Let's say it didn't turn out good. Well, Wells pitched last week. Why don't I have his stats in my sheet here? Or maybe he doesn't have a qualifying amount of innings. Why don't I have? There should be enough innings here. Yeah, I don't know. Against Detroit. 7 hits, 5 hits, 4 hits, homers. Yeah, I can get to the Yankees. Jorge Lopez has glimpses of, I don't want to say greatness, but glimpses of being good. Like, I'm not going to, for the Yankees to kind of get, I don't know, silenced by him, it is what it is. Alexander Wells definitely looks like he projects a little less menacing, right? What up, Dave? Shout out to Dave, member of the YouTube channel. What up, Sean? Melo and Malik Monk are signing with the Lakers. I feel guilty, but when I read that, my mind went to LaMelo, and I'm assuming you mean Carmelo. My boy Devontae, friend of the channel, heading to New Orleans. Indians at the Blue Jays. Zach Plesac taking on Hunyin Ryu. This game, Franco Baltimore. You like Franco? Okay. This game gives us a 3.5 run total for the Indians. So that's a really low run total. And because of how shallow the pitching pool is for me pre-flop, that might open up some thought process on Hunyin Ryu. The Blue Jays, by the way, a 5.1 implied run total. They are minus 203 favorites out there in the Rogers Center on the season. Indians, not staggering numbers against lefties. A 90 WRC plus. That's 10 points below league average. 23% K rate. I'd like to see that a little bit more, but the power's not there. The OPS ain't there. It's Jose Ramirez and friends, and Franmil Reyes is also a problem. We do know that he has a lot of power against righties. The pushback for me here is Hunyin Ryu's metrics haven't been fantastic, but I'm also willing to maybe forgive some of the previous ballparks, right? Dunedin, Salem Field, maybe Rogers Center treats them a little bit better, but the strikeout numbers are really not. I mean, yeah, Parks can help, but the strikeout numbers are not what we've known to be from Ryu. 9.6% swing and strike rate this season. Last couple years, over 11.5%. So I'm concerned that that's dipped the way it has. And this season, he's sustaining a 19% K rate to righties, 22% to lefties. But I'm willing to kind of fire him up in the interest of eating innings, getting the win, and maybe I get 5K, 6, 7 innings, 8,700. I don't need a ton, and I think he feels like the best of the next level, right? That middle tier, maybe not the best, but I think there's a range of outcomes where we can knock on the door of 20 plus. He's gotten that in 3 of his last 4, and the matchup is okay enough that we could take 16 to 17 if that's going to be one of the slightly below average median range outcomes, and he dropped almost 20 on him last time. I'm probably going to get to Ryu. I think I slide him into my tier 2 levels. For those of you guys don't know, when I really pop open a slate, I like to create tiers for my pitching. And if you guys ever want access to this is part of having a subscription at rundfs.com. But like right now, if I had to put some pitch in here, I'd probably put Zach Wheeler tier 1, and then I would come down here and I'd probably start with Ryu as a tier 2 and kind of work from there. So I think I do get to there, but it's process of elimination, and it's a matter of the pitching options being pretty doggone shallow. Jose Ramirez, Franmil Reyes would be 2 guys I would seek out if I wanted to specifically identify bats that could thrive in this matchup. On the other side here, Plesac, he's got a 4.56 xFIP to righties, just a 14.8% K rate to righties, allowance and pop 1.8 home run per 9, and against lefties the xFIP's high, the K percentage is low. The Blue Jays do have an elevated run total. I wish the overall metrics for Plesac was a little bit more in line with the results right now, meaning I wish the hard contact rate projected higher, right? 30.4% against lefties, 27.7% against righties. That's actually low. So for him to have this home run problem is kind of funny. I don't want to say it's an outlier, but it's kind of funny. On the road this season, a 1.62 overall home run per 9, just a 13% K rate. Yeah, no reason not to think the Blue Jays aren't talented enough to get some runs in. I think the toughest part about the Blue Jays stack, at least on DraftKings, is the price. A lot of the meat and potatoes of this one is over 5K. Vladdy Jr.'s 5.9, Semien 5K, Bo Bichette 5.5, and then George Springer leading off at 5.1. But every team in the league's playing today. There's going to be plenty of 2 to 3K guys to kind of reprieve that salary and allow you to fit them in. So if you're on the Blue Jays, go for it. 100, 150 lineups. I don't see how you don't get to some Blue Jays stacks. What do we do with the Indians? I think I'm probably just going to allow the suspects, the usual suspects, J-Ram, a little Franmil into the pool. But right now, I don't think I'm going to allocate a specific amount of exposure to full stack in Indians. Like I said, 3.5 run total, and I do think Ryu's a good pitcher, and maybe Roger Center will be better to him than the last 2 home parks of the season. What are you guys doing with this one? Anything special? What up, Dope Heathen? How can the Reds have their lineup out at 7 a.m.? The rest of these teams wait so long. It's a good question, but I don't know. I mean, the 7 a.m. is a little bit early. Gun, is it crazy to get Phillies leading 2 to 6 innings? Is it crazy to bet Phillies leading 2 to 6 innings? You mean from the 2nd inning to the 6th inning, they hold a lead? You could bet that? That's a weird thing, but it probably would be crazy to bet that if I'm reading that right, because it's baseball. Is it crazy to bet the Phillies leading 2 to 6 innings? Yeah, I don't know if I'm interpreting that right. What up, John? Ryu with Cease or Patino for the win for salary saving, along with Posey, Albie, Swanson. I like it. Patino wasn't somebody like that stood out to me, but we're gonna dive into that game. Matter of fact, it's not the next game, but it's the next game. Mets at the Marlins. Taijuan Walker taking on Braxton Garrett. Mets coming into this game with a implied run total of 4.5. The Marlins 3.6. Braxton Garrett 6K special on DraftKings. He's got a 4.13 xFIP to righties, a 4.01 xFIP to lefties. Elevated average allowed to both sides of the plate, 350 against lefties, 303 to righties, and some power to righties. But like the Plesac scenario, the hard contact and the fly ball rate isn't that extreme. So I don't know that he sustains a 1.5 home run per nine on those numbers, but the line drive rate's pretty doggone high. So it wouldn't stun me, especially when the metrics, when you isolate what he's done in Marlins Park, it also don't line up well. It does look like he has a line drive problem on both sides of the plate. So look out for that. Let's go see if we can dig a little bit deeper into his numbers and see if his big league stuff is in line with his minor league stuff. So let's pull up Braxton Garrett, Miami card on MILB.com. If you guys are ever wondering where I'm getting this information, it is MILB.com. And you guys can kind of seek out some guys. I like using this. So I would say be cautious, right? Because your AAA stats almost never transfer right away to the big league level. But it gives us an idea of maybe the DNA of the pitcher that you are and are going to progress to be and hitter. 15.1 innings against lefties in the minors, not pretty. 276 average, 137 whip, a 0.8 ground out to air out ratio. So he's been a fly ball pitcher. Two lefties, 39.1 innings against righties. A little bit better results. 231 average, a 38 strikeouts, so just under a strikeout per inning. 13 walks, you probably want that down a little bit. 4 bombs. So it does kind of line up with the numbers we're looking at. It will give up some homers here. I don't think the strikeout rates are anything like worth chasing. I know it's 6K in a pitcher's park. Like you think about, hey, could I get 12 to 15 as an SP2 and let that be the crazy lineup? But the strikeout rates aren't like staggering. 9% swinging strike rate so far this season. 21% overall against righties, 17% against lefties. So I think I don't pitch Braxton Garrett here. Do we stack some Mets? I don't know. I don't think I'm stacking Mets, but I will cherry pick some of these bats. They crack a lineup, right? A couple homers here. I think Pete Alonso, Dom Smith, Michael Conforto, kind of my favorite names sticking out. These are a bunch of 200 plus ISO guys, and they land where they land. Taijuan Walker, 8,500 on DraftKings. So far on the road this season, a 4.42 xFIP, 22% K rate. Ground ball rates at almost 42%. The hard contact rate's low. I feel like his metrics kind of remind me of a even poorer man's Marcus Stroman, and people love playing Marcus Stroman. So do they get to Taijuan Walker just for the simple fact that it's the Miami Marlins? Fresh wound here, but we played Tyler Mego last night, and he got. And I thought he had a better pedigree, or does have a better pedigree than Taijuan Walker, at least as a fantasy play. But the thing is, pitching is so shallow today that if you thought Walker could eat 5-6 innings, grab a win, like at 8,500, I wouldn't hate having a little bit of exposure to that, but the metrics don't like excite me. So if I look at the ownership projections and he's in single digits, I throw him in the pool. But if he gets a little too ridiculous owned, like if for some reason I'm like surprised and I see like a 20%, I probably back all the way out of that. But it is a plus park. It feels like a plus matchup. A lot of near 30% or greater than 30% strikeout rates. So it's one of those I'm indifferent on it, right? Like it was gone. This guy's a lock. I'm like, hey, okay, you like that guy, you like the guy. But I definitely have plenty, and you guys see it, plenty of reason to push back on it and not feel great. I will say his better numbers, at least strikeout wise, have come against lefties, and right now this Marlins lineup is projecting to be pretty righty heavy, and against righties that K rate dips down to a little bit under 22%. The average is up a little bit, but plus part. So. You guys do anything in particular with this one? Walker has been so bad lately. Yeah, it's not a definitely just it's a whatever. What Toronto should mash. They should. I wouldn't be stunned if they didn't. Right? I think Plesac could be kind of like Jorge Lopez, where like he's got good enough stuff to keep the scoreboard low. Right? Like he's definitely hittable. He's not an ace. But I don't think every game he goes out there and gets shelled. So if the Blue Jays didn't drop 10 runs, it wouldn't stun me. But I think right now, pre-flop, Blue Jays are absolutely going to be a team that I have exposure to as a full stack, 5-man stack. All right, so we move on to the next game. So we got a Rays lineup out. So we'll go ahead and punch that into this RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet. It looks like Randy Arozarena is going to lead off for him against the lefty. Wander Franco is in the 2 spot, earning his way back up. Then we got Nelly Furtado Cruz. He's like a bird. He'll only fly away. You don't know where his home is. I can do this all day. Brandon Lau in the 7th spot. Francisco Mejia batting 8th. And then Joey Wendell from the Department of Redundancy Department batting 9th. I had to type that twice. So that's our confirmed Rays lineup. Pitching matchup, Yusei Kikuchi taking on Luis Patino. So Kikuchi is one of those guys that I do like playing generally in the right spots. Kind of fits the mold of the average and pitcher today, right? Like, I'm not excited to play Kikuchi, but I do think before it's all said and done, I probably get some Kikuchi into the player mix for me, just because one, it is a plus park, pitcher's park, and the Rays strike out quite a bit, right? They're on pace to set a single season strikeout record. Last couple games for Kikuchi. Houston Astros, tough matchup. Walked away with 7 strikeouts, right? The 7 hits is not what you want. Over a strikeout per inning is nice. 12 Ks against Oakland. Strikeouts have been there, so I definitely think the near far right column has a lot of volatility and variance in a daily sample. But 8,800, I do think there's a world where you run that game a few times, there's a 20 plus DKP here and there. This top of the Rays lineup is really, really tough against lefties. A lot of great hit for averages, a lot of 280s or greater in that 1 through 4. Some ISO there, so certainly not a warm or fuzzy spot. This probably would be maybe a head spot for me, where I get a little bit of both. Rays have a 4.5 run total. And you're seeing a really strong lane with correlation to kind of to go after. 1 through 4 for me would really be the high end of the Ray stack. So I'm probably going to teeter-totter both sides of that fence. Luis Patino, the pitcher for the Rays here, he's got a 29% K rate to righties, just a 16.7% K rate to lefties. I've seen his name in chat a few times, so because I don't recognize his name as like a full starter, just kind of want to see if we can expect a decent pitch count. It looks like we can. 97, 98, 94. So 90 plus pitches. We saw him drop a 30 bomb in his last outing, but much like Kikuchi, there's a lot of volatility in the results. So let's keep that 90 in mind. Let's look at this projected lineup. Several 1 and 4 K rates. Let's go to the K factory and give him 90 pitches in his pitch count. If you guys haven't seen this is a strikeout prediction model that I created that is responsive to the lineup that I have typed in. So this projected Mariners lineup right here, it's going to consider their pitches per plate appearances, their strikeout percentage, the pitchers pitches per out, the swing and strike rates of both the pitcher and the hitter. And then if I get a pitch count in mind, I do it like a by 10 pitch basis. I give him 90 pitches, Patino that is. It gives me 6.11 strikeouts on average in this matchup, and then at 100, 6.79. So if you're telling me 5-6 innings, strikeout per is there for us, 7.4 K. We almost live with 2x value, 14 DKP, and then if we can get to the 20 plus threshold, it's great. Yeah, I can get to a little bit of that. It's a strong park. At home, he's got a 4.61 xFIP though, so I do think the results have been a little on the favorable side for him. But they're still versus this lineup in this park with the strikeout rate that he does have, right? 12.3% swing and strike rate is good. Yeah, I will play some Patino. I'd probably introduce him into my player pool as a tier 3 for now, and then when that Mariners lineup did get confirmed, that's when I would kind of move the needle as so, right? Young C, did you answer my question? Yeah, I was unsure about what you were asking. Let's move on to the next game. Twins at the Reds. We have a Reds lineup. We've had a Reds lineup. Reds projected lineup: Jonathan India, Jesse Winker, Kyle Farmer, Joey Votto, Max Schrock, Donkey. It's Shrek. That's a Shrek reference for those that Yep, that's what that is. Eugenio Suarez batting 7th. Tucker Barnhart in the 8 hole. And then Tyler Mahle, your pitcher. Kenta Maeda going for the Twins today. He's 8K on DraftKings. Mahle's 10K. I think both pitchers are viable in a vacuum, but we elevate the risk here because of the ballpark. Great American Ballpark, I think, is the most homer-friendly park in baseball. Neither pitcher have a giant home run bug, but this year Maeda has had a 1.28 home run per nine to righties, and last year held a 1.5. And on the road, he's got a 1.8 home run per nine. So outside of target field, he's definitely let a couple over the wall. But just, the 1-4 strikeout rate at 8K. There's a world where, he lives a little bit in this game. So I might introduce him into the tier 3 level of my pitching player pool today, and whatever happens. Tyler Mahle, 10K is definitely a bite your lip and close your eyes price point, because it does have a lot of risk in this ballpark, and I think this might be one of the true throw your hands up, or at least throw my hands up spots where I get a little bit of everything, meaning I get some Maeda, I get some Mahle, I get some twin stacks, I get some red stacks. Mahle so far this season at home just averaging 13.7 fantasy points per game and a 6.07 ERA with a 1.48 whip. The xFIP at home, however, 3.63, and that's a product of the ballpark, and a 28.4% K rate and a 2.54 home run per nine. That's what I'm talking about, man. That home run is a problem in this ballpark. So 10K is even more risk than you would like to assess and like to bring on. So what I would say is, if you are looking for diversification in 150 lineups, you probably open the door on Mahle. In single entries, 3 entries, 20 entries, obviously I think at this price point, Zach Wheeler seems like the mathematical play in terms of the most common success. And the fact that Wheeler's a little cheaper than Mahle is just kind of kind of tilting the seesaw for me. So I'm in on Mahle in mass entry, but on short entry, I probably look towards some of his price point peers. At 7,900 on Fanduel becomes a little bit more of an intriguing asking point, and the same thing with Maeda, right? He's going to come into the back end of my pitching pool. I probably would never allow more than 8-10% of it, but at 8K, there's a role where 16 to 18 is fine. The Reds lineup itself, though, really expensive. Joey Votto's moved up to 5.6K. We know why. He homered for an entire decade, it felt like. Jesse Winker's up there, 5,300. He kind of hit a skid in July. Kenta Maeda does allow power and a little bit elevated average to lefties versus his righty splits. Jonathan India's 5.4. It's a pretty expensive stack. I am curious to see where the ownership's at. They have a sub 5 run total, and this ballpark can get crazy. And like I said, I don't want to emphasize the price points, because I think on a 15-game slate, there's just so much value where pricing really doesn't matter. We're just making teams and we're firing them away. We can make just about anything we want fit, and like, if we can fit the Blue Jays and the Yankees without blinking, I'm not gonna blink about the Reds. Just kind of analyzing where sites are. So Max Schrock, 3,800 on DraftKings. He has an overall 191 average against righties since the beginning of last year. But I've definitely seen some big games from him, especially in the last week. So I wonder if this is a product of short sample size in the spreadsheet. Last week against the Mets, he had 5 hits and 5 at-bats and a bomb. So if you got a second, let's look up his minor league card, and maybe his big league sample size hasn't caught up to him raking. He's a 26-year-old young gun. Let's go splits. And in the minors, batting 304 against righties. How many bombs? It's the bomb column. 3 bombs and 56 at-bats. Yeah, we'll take that. So yeah, it looks like, he has a pedigree of being solid against righties, at least in the minors, and against lefties, a 259 average, right? That's not horrendous, but we'll take it. So yeah, if I get to the red stack, no reason not to get to the 5-hole hitter. So I'm just gonna play every outcome. Twin stacks, red stacks, Molly exposure, Maeda exposure. I probably keep both Maeda and Molly exposure below 10%. And the stacks are probably going to be maybe 6 to 8%ers for me as well. Just obscure numbers to start with. We'll see if we move the needle up or down. Let's move on to the next game. The Tigers hosting the Red Sox next on the docket. Tigers lineup did come out, so we can get that confirmed. The Red Sox lineup has not come out yet, but the Tigers are going to lead off Akil Baddoo, Jonathan Scope, Robbie Grossman, Miggy, Jamer Candelario, Eric Haas, Harold Castro, not Willie, is batting 7th, and Willie Castro is batting 8th, and then Derek Hill. So pitching a matchup is Willie Peralta versus Garrett Richards. Willie Peralta, I think, on a 15-game slate, it's far-fetched to project him to be one of the best plays. And even at 4K, I might even go punt Lewis Gill instead. We know what we get from Peralta. It's a pure contact guy. He's had some great results in a couple games in his last 5 where you would absolutely take 15, 20 from it. But I think the optimal scenario for Peralta to be a great play is holding teams to no runs. Maybe you get like 3 strikeouts in 6 innings, something like that. And it's the Red Sox. The Red Sox are a really good team. So I'm probably just going to completely uncheck Willie Peralta from consideration today. And I'm going to be playing some Red Sox. Red Sox projected lineup. You can give me a little leadoff Kike if he does stay there. Jaron Duran starting to find it. Bogarts, Rafael Devers, JD Martinez revenge game? Question mark? I'm in. 3,800 for JD on Fanduel, sure. Verdugo, the lineup is pretty affordable everywhere. 5,700 for Devers, yeah, that's up there, but price really is not going to be a problem today. So Red Sox stack is a no-brainer pre-flop if you're getting exposure. You're diversifying. They have a 5.5 implied run total. Do a little bit of digging here on Garrett Richards, because he has been trying to find it all season long. And what we've really noticed in his last month or two is game by game, it seems like he's drastically changing his pitch mix, and it seemed like he was trying to find a changeup. So we're going to go to pitch type. Actually, we need to go to game log before we go to pitch type. Game log and then pitch type. And I'm sure you guys know this, but we're using Fangraphs for this information. Pitch type, that value. So last couple games, 51% fastball usage against the Blue Jays, 24% slider rate, 13% curveball rate, and then 12% changeup rate. And that's the number I was watching. Because you look at his overall season, he just introduced the changeup on June 28th. And we've seen that really vary from game to game. A 25% usage mix against the Royals, then 5%, then 4%, which is almost not using it. And then he went back up to 1-4 against Toronto. And then the next game against Toronto, he chops that back in half, and then he goes back to the fastball a little bit. So he really doesn't he doesn't know what he's doing yet, and the results kind of show that, right? He's trying to find it. The Red Sox want him to find it, but it's not it's not effective. And also, since we're here, that's his mix. Let's see what the value of these pitches have been. His changeup has had a positive grade in just 1 game. The curveball has been a plus pitch in the last couple of games. The fastball is a negative pitch. Yeah, all of his pitches, even when trying to mix it up, really don't project that great anyway. So just wanted to just put some light on that. Results for him, not good. Got beat up by Toronto. The Blue Jays are not the Tigers, and we've seen some guys get away with some weird pitchers against the Tigers. So 7,300 Garrett Richards. I'm curious to see where the field's at. I'm curious to see where you guys are at. About 80 pitches on a good game is what to expect from him. 7,300. Could we get 14 to 20 as a range of outcomes? I don't know. I hate to really feel like I'm getting too creative at pitcher, especially on a 15-game slate. The strikeout rates just have not been there to either side of the plate. 15.6% to lefties, 18% to righties. The average is ridiculous. And it's the Tigers. So the Tigers are a Cinderella stack here. Like, are they a team we should be behind? I was reading through some of you guys' home run calls. I did see Akil Badu in the comment section this morning. He's pretty cheap on both sides. Definitely would be my favorite Tiger pre-flop. Batting over 300 against righties since the beginning of last year. Almost a 300 ISO, 286, and the OPS is up there. So I'm with that. And there's a couple of bomb detector ratings over 4. Jonathan Scope, Eric Haas. So maybe the Tigers are kind of a Cinderella stack. Maybe not a full 5, but I can see 3 guys as a sub stack falling and not losing any sleep here. And then Miggy's had a couple strong outings lately as well. I guess the question is, do you play Garrett Richards or don't you? Right now, I'm saying my answer is probably no. If I let it simmer a little bit, could I let the fact that it's Comerica Park, pitcher friendly park, the Tigers, a 1-4 K rate, they're pretty poor against the lefties. The wind, it looks like there's a breeze in, pushing on 80 degrees. Like, if I end up with like 3 to 4% Garrett Richards by the time lock hits, do I lose sleep? Probably not. But right now, I don't think it's the mathematical play for me. So I'm probably out on both pitchers, and then we're just focusing on offenses. What do you guys got? Not playing Richards? Yeah. Oh, man. I love Bang. Bang is so good. Chat. Thumbs up, please. Please. Hit that thumbs up. We're at 18. Can we get 28? That'll be lit. Angels at the Rangers. Next game on the docket. I think we did get an Angels lineup. We did. Angels have a 4.6 implied run total. Rangers are at 4. David Fletcher, Shohei Ohtani, Justin Upton Funk, gonna give it to you. He's batting third. Max Stassi's batting cleanup. Look at this lineup when it gets past Upton. Holy. Phil Gosselin, Joe Adell. Okay, they're calling up Joe Adell. Be rolling in the deep. Jose Iglesias batting 7th, Brandon Marsh, and Jack Mayfield. Got away with Dane Dunning yesterday. I don't think I'm going to tempt fate with Jordan Lyles, but my goodness, is this Angels lineup not what you want? I mean, I think it has to be the highest strikeout lineup on the entire slate. Look at this lane. Ohtani to Joe Adell. A cumulative like 28% average K rate. Brandon Marsh and Jack Mayfield, put them together, it's a 28%. This is a strikeout lineup, but Jordan Lyles has not been a strikeout pitcher. 18% K rate on the season. He does have an over 10% swing and strike rate. Not elite, but not horrible. Maybe like the called strike rate to be higher. Barrel rates middling of the pack. 5,100, man. I tell you what. There's a lot of K's in this lineup, man. My GPP mind might get there later, but right now my cash game mind is saying don't play Jordan Lyles. Don't do it. But 5,100 pretty cheap, and there's a lot of K's here. Obviously, if we want to pick on Lyles, the path to his failure has been power to righties. 239 home run per 9 allowed to righties so far. 292 average. Justin Upton, right? Anyone else in this lineup that bats righty, are you really scared of? I guess Joe Adell, his numbers, his big league sample size is going to come off poor, but he is a prospect for him. So maybe we look at his minor league stuff to see if he has been doing well. And then, maybe if you land on a little bit of Joe Adell, you do. But let's go get a pulse for his production in the minors or lack thereof thus far. Into the season against righties, batting 280 with a 5.69 slugging, not great, 896 OPS. So just what they need. Another no power guy. 84 strikeouts for Adele and 246 at bats. 7 stolen bases to 1 caught stealing though. So yeah, I mean it looks like there's a little bit of pop, just a little bit with some stolen base potential. 2K special, middle of the lineup, sure. Yuck. Jose Suarez, we thought would start yesterday for the Angels. They ended up going with Rodriguez, I believe. I wasn't on Suarez yesterday. Probably don't move the needle for me today. just eat some innings. Do we stack some Rangers here against a lefty? You could sell me on Adolis Garcia, Andy Ibanez, Charlie Culberson, guys like that, but not priority clicks. This game just kind of exists. 8.5 run total. With the meditation on could Jordan Lyles just steal a game here with this K rate, right? Lorenzo says Jordan has been decent, but more lucky at home. Or rather play Freeland over Lyles. Goes back to the Angels versus Hap situation. Yeah, where Hap was getting strikeouts. That's an excellent comp. Let me pull up Lyles' last couple games. I don't know, man. I feel like the longer I look into Jordan Lyles, the more I'm gonna be like, all right, I'll get to some, and then tonight I'm just gonna be like, what have I done? Why would I do this? Game logs. All I want to see is play discipline. All right. Play discipline the last couple of games for Jordan Lyles. First pitch strike 50+%. I would like to see 60+. Outside the zone swing rate 35, 23. That 23 is not what I want. And then the swing and strike rate, he got a 15% swing and strike rate in the Arizona game, but the 4 games prior under 10%. So I don't want to do it. No Jonah. Oh, Jonah Heim, the Rangers lineup isn't confirmed yet, but yeah, if Jonah Heim did crack the lineup, he's been my boy, so I would play him. But we'll see. Next game on the docket, Royals at the White Sox. Chris Bubich taking on Dylan Cease. This is a back-to-back start series for both pitchers, and I believe that was the series, or that was a game we were all kind of, or at least I was running to White Sox against a lefty, and it kind of didn't go well for a stack's sake, but that's baseball. Confirmed Royals lineup: Whit Merrifield, Carlos Santana, Salvi, Andrew Benintendi, Hunter Dozier, Ryan O'Hearn, Michael A. Taylor, Edward Olivares, and Nicky Lopez. That is our confirmed Royals lineup. We don't have a confirmed White Sox lineup yet. Eloy Jimenez is probable. That's a good return to this lineup. Chris Bubich, his game was a ground ball game, man. 46% ground ball rate. Just a 32% fly ball rate. Line drive rate, a little bit over 20%. Will allow a couple of bombs, 1.61 home run per 9 on the season, and on the road a 3.58 with a 40% hard contact rate. So he's definitely preferred Kaufman versus the road, and on the road also a 5.29 xFIP. So I'll say this, if the Yankees go against Jorge Lopez again today, I probably stack the Yankees again. Baseball's baseball. There's going to be good games. There's going to be bad games. There's going to be games that you get BABIP go your way and against your way. White Sox are just a team that I'll never not stack against lefties if it's this version of it. Look at these batting averages against lefties for the team. There's a lot of 300 plus. There's plenty of ISO to cherry pick. Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, Andrew Vaughn, Eloy Jimenez. There's some strong base running, and Tim Anderson's kind of putting it together sneakily. Like I don't think his power has been as prevalent this year as maybe in years past, but he's making up for it with solid hit for average on the season, 296, and he'll steal some bases as well if you let him. So I think 6K for his average production. If you look at his last 10 games, there's only one game in the last 10 where he had over 10 DKP. I think he's probably overpriced in that regard. Honestly, 6K, what has he done? But I don't want to get caught up in pricing today, and I'll stack stacks, right? Like pricing does not exist to me on a 15-game slate when there's going to be linchpins, there's going to be 2K specials to just make it happen, and I'm really not putting 30K into pitching too. So I can get to this, and I won't overthink if I only get 8 to 12 from a 6K Tim Anderson. But in single entry, 3 entry, something like that, yeah, you should probably weight the price point a little bit and understand that maybe on average that 6K is not the right spot for Tim Anderson, but the leadoff guy for a team with 5.6 implied run total, I definitely want him part of my stacks. If I had to pull out my favorite White Sox names, it's going to be Tim Anderson, it's going to be Abreu, Moncada, Eloy Jimenez, and then we can lean into a little bit of Vaughn. But I'll have a lot of combinations of this White Sox team. Dylan Cease, let's talk about him. This morning in the first look video, it kind of ended up with him as my early look SP2. Kind of feel the same, where it's not a warm and fuzzy click. We've got a couple AK guys that we're really just hoping for, knocking on the door of 20. I think Dylan Cease is one of those guys. I don't necessarily love back-to-back starts against the same team. It's a lot of familiarity. You don't really get too different in terms of your approach versus hitters. In last game against the Royals, 17 DKP. So it didn't blow you away, but you take it. 6 innings in that game. Maybe he'll knock on the door of a quality start. He hasn't allowed more than 3 earnings in his last 4 games. So if you are looking for a quality start, bid on Fanduel. He could fit the bill there. The hits per innings is a little higher than you want. Some walks to boot, so it's definitely not a clean 6 innings from Cease, but he will be in the player pool, trying to tap into that 27% overall K rate, or 27% K rate to righties, 31% to lefties. Overall at home, he's had a 31.3% strikeout clip, and the average allowed in the home run per 9, pretty good. The xFIP is still under 4. It still comes with risk, but at home he's just been more solid. And from a fantasy perspective, I think at home he's average, was it like 21.9 DKP per game. So he's been better at home. So 8,400. If you tell me there's a above average median range of outcome to get me 20, I'll take it. Let's move on to the next game. By the way, the Rangers lineup just came out, and it doesn't look like there's Jonah Heim. Did you guys have anything on this game before I go on? I didn't even see the message. What does this guy know? Can't even change his hat. True that, Linda. Listen, Linda. Listen. Vaughn double donk day. I can get behind that. I think Andrew Vaughn had a really strong bomb rating. I had 3.92. It's not that strong. Remember, so Bubic is a ground ball guy. So like that will spoil a stack here and there. Anyone from Seattle, Tampa, or LA, Texas, I missed that. I wasn't that keen on it. I think you can look at the top 4 of the Rays lineup. I think they structured that pretty solid to face a lefty, but Kikuchi, I've got respect for him. Then Angels and Rangers, that just is whatever happens, right? That Angels lineup looks so bad other than Ohtani. But it's Jordan Lyles, so bad hitting can beat bad pitching, right? Let's move on to the next game. Brewers hosting the Pirates. Max Kranick up against Adrian Hauser. We do have a confirmed Brewers lineup. It's going to be Colton Wong, Willy Adames, Omar Narvaez, Eduardo Escobar, Avisal Garcia is in the 5 spot. Roddy Telez in the 6 spot. Hey, I'm Tyrone Taylor in the 7th spot. And then Lorenzo Cain. Oh, it's Mr. Steal Your Bag. He's been stealing some bags lately. Kranick on the bump for the Pirates, 18.9% K rate against righties, almost mirrors that against lefties. xFIP is elevated. Just 16 innings of sample size in the big league so far, 4.74 expected ERA, a 1.63 whip. I think it's fair if we give him a little bit of a deeper look to see if that's in line with his minor league stuff. So maybe we project progression or regression. Just to, there it is. It takes a minute to load. Just to see if it's kind of lining up to be in line with his DNA. So actually, it doesn't look like we have a minor league sample size here. MILB stats on the season in the minors. He went 42 innings, 38 strikeouts, 1.26 whip. Wonder why when I split here. Maybe it'll give me game logs. For the lefty righty splits. It's just giving me his big league numbers, and I don't want to misrepresent that. So I guess he really hasn't done much in the minors since like June. Seems like a average, maybe slightly below average pitcher. So Brewers have a pretty strong run total, 5.5. So I probably don't play Kranick here. The strikeout rate doesn't appear to be that good. The swinging strike rate does look like 11.6%. There could be a world where he becomes solid, but 38 strikeouts, 42 innings. He's a couple of strikeouts less than a strikeout per inning. Yeah, give me some Brewers. Colton Wong, Willie Adames, Narvaez, Escobar. Fun lane there. I don't mind looking to Garcia and Rowdy Tellez. Rowdy Tellez definitely offers some pop right there in the middle of the lineup. He might get lazy with a pitch. So, yeah, not pitching Kranick. Adrian Hauser. This lineup hasn't come out, but like if for some reason it came out, I don't know, I was gonna say righty heavy, but even righty heavy, it's not like his split's that strong. He does have a sub 4 xFIP to righties, but against lefties, man, it's a problem. 4.44 xFIP to lefties, a 16% K rate, 282 average allowed. Extreme ground ball guy, so it's not like he's by design getting blasted. Really high ground ball rate, 7,600. Does he make the back end of a pitching pool, 5-6%er? Looking for, 16 to 20? I don't know that 20 is a common, but, if you're just trying to steal a 16 to 18 and you want to diversify so you're not super clogged up, sure. I think right now I wouldn't put him in my pool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go out of my way to pick on him, but I think right now, from lucrativity and a fantasy standpoint for fantasy points, I probably don't think that he's the optimal pitcher that often. So I'll avoid him, but I will have some Brewers exposure into the mix. Let's move on to the Braves and Cardinals because I do kind of like this game. We do have a confirmed Cardinals lineup, so we'll get that typed up. Tommy Edman is batting leadoff for the Redbirds. Dylan Carlson. Oh, this is different. Dylan Carlson batting second. We put the lowercase r. Paul Goldschmidt batting third. Arenado batting cleanup. Tyler O'Neill. Look at this lineup. Hold up. Yachty batting sixth. Harrison Bader Bomb batting seventh. And then Edmundo Sosa batting eighth. So, definitely a little different, right? Still the same names, but like the order different. Usually, like Edmund will be lower in the order, Carlson will lead off, or vice versa. This is a strong lineup at the top against lefties. A lot of 300 plus averages against lefties. I'm gonna preface this that this game is got just an 8.5 run total, and I'm probably gonna be a sucker for the bats on both sides, especially on the Braves side. So if you trust Vegas more than youtube.com/Kundacker, trust Vegas here. But I definitely think I can make some strong cases for bats in this game. Just finishing up the Cardinals analysis here, a lot of power here. Max Fried doesn't really have a giant power problem so far on the season, though. The power has shown up on the road, 1.8 home run per nine on the road, but it's Busch Stadium's definitely going to be way more favorable for pitchers for those fly balls to end up to be flyouts. But let's talk about John Lester and the Braves, because Lester is somebody. Why can't I quit you? I stack against him. I remember last time I went full sent on John Lester, he turned into Clayton Lester and even homered. So it was kind of like Ohtani for a day. But he's such a contact guy, and he's just, for me, he's not good. But he's been living and thriving a lot when I pick on him. But I'm gonna go and pick on him again here, right? Look at this range of outcomes, right? 30 against the Nats, but -4 against the Giants. He's going to have the benefit of a strong park. He does get a new catcher, but he might have the best catcher. I mean, I know he's pitched to David Ross before, but Yadier Molina is a pretty doggone good catcher to start a new team with. But his metrics just not good. 13.9% K rate to righties, a 5.4 xFIP, a 209 home run per nine. I mean, those are all metrics that are lighting my eyes up. And I mentioned Ozzy Albies on the first look video this morning. Lineup just came out, and Albies is leading off. So that's not going to move me backwards on him. You get maximum at-bats from him today. Switchy, in case, he doesn't get through to Lester. Maybe gets in on the bullpen. I'm in on the Braves, man. If this game was in SunTrust Park, Braves might be one of my highest owned stacks. So I'm also a sucker for picking on Lester, but it is what it is. If you guys bear with me just a moment, this Braves lineup did come out, so we can tighten up the analysis. Ozzy Albies is leading off. Jorge Soler batting second. We haven't seen that ever. I don't know. I can't remember him ever batting in the top two, even in KC. Freddie Freeman, Austin Riley, Dansby Swanson, hold me closer. Tiny Dansby, Adam Duvall batting sixth, Jock Peterson in the seventh spot, and then Kevin Smith. I mean, this is fun. Against a contact lefty, look at it. This is fun. It is what it is at Busch Stadium, but there's a lot of power. 260, 259, 262, 281, a lot of power 1 through 6. And Freddie Freeman's somebody that we know can just be a professional hitter. So I'm going to be stacking Braves. The run total is definitely disappointing. But the matchup is the matchup, and I'm playing the matchup. But I really love Ozzy Albies on both sites. I think on 3,600 on Fanduel, that's a really strong price point. And then 4,700 on DraftKings, like I said, extremely obtainable on today's slate. And just him betting leadoff is just, he's got everything you could want. I mean, look at these numbers against lefties since the beginning of last year. 354 average, 266 ISO, base running score 5.4 on this season. The bomb rating's up there. It's got everything I could want. So give me some Braves. Definitely give me some Albies. Do you get to Max Fried here? A sub 4 xFIP to righties. It's going to be a really righty-heavy lineup. Everyone but the pitcher. Batting righty. 22.4% K rate. Plus Park. I get it. Right now, he'd be on the fence as it just, could we eat some innings and get me a shot at 18 to 20, right? I don't think he can't. But it's not a warm or fuzzy spot. So in 20 or less lineups, no. But as we expand and diversify into the abyss of 100, 150, I think he would crack the back end of the pool, at least for me. You guys got anything else to get caught up on chat here? Ohtani, Lester, yeah. DeMar DeRozan to the Bulls, man. Dave Jones, what do you think about tonight's game between the Astros and Dodgers? I think that's gonna be fun as a real life baseball enthusiast. We'll talk about that game in a minute. But two good pitchers, two good offenses. There's a lot of ranges of outcomes in that one. So what else we got in chat here? Look at you guys. What up, Keith? Won me 20K while he was on the Osmo show, so I think he knows a bit, Linda. Yeah, appreciate that. Haters gonna hate. I'm lucky to not get a lot of haters. A lot of people do get haters, but for the most part, you guys are cool, man. It doesn't I get a lot of videos with no thumbs down. So usually there's some haters that just go through. I'm sure now that I said it, somebody will, but man, I look at a couple of my videos and it's 20, 40 thumbs up, no thumbs down, man. You guys bring the love and I bring it right back. We laid back here, man. No egos. Play Tommy Edman, he crushes lefties. Y'all, what up? Ozzy Riley and Tommy Edman airing out on with that. What's your thought on Dansby Swanson? Dansby, I think he's in the middle of the lineup that there's a good chance he has at bats with runners on, right? And that's going to elevate his projected ceiling for me. So he's there. He wouldn't be a priority play, but I mean, he's right smack dab in the middle of Austin Riley, Adam Duvall. Duvall should be enough protection to see some good pitches. It's a good matchup. So I'm in on him. He wouldn't be the top end of my Braves priority list today, but he's definitely not out of consideration. I can get Swanson or Baду in my utility spot on the blue site. I don't know who I want yet. I think if you're making, depending on that lineup's game theory and construction, is Swanson if you have Albies or something, not that that's a correlation, but maybe you handcuff them. Do you have any other Tigers? Probably not. So maybe you just vote in lieu of correlation, right? This game is the best two leadoff guys. It is fun. What up, Hunter Warren? I'm in a pickle. What do you guys think for catcher today? Best play? I think it's Real Muto, but he's expensive. Just out of curiosity, we'll use the bomb detector real quick, and then we'll get back into these games. But who has the highest bomb rating out of all the catchers on today's slate? It's probably Eric Haas or something. Yeah, it's Eric Haas. I should have known. Eric Haas, Mitch Garver, Casali. So maybe it is Eric Haas. I don't know. Catcher's not really my priority position. Oftentimes I'll punt it, and then the last week you've seen punt catchers absolutely break a slate. Uh, anyway, back to the chat. What was some of your suggestions yesterday? 13500 probably. That a boy James. Man, I'm glad. Like I said, I missed on the Yankee stack, but I think like, that happens. But I was not on Andrew Heaney, and that's what saved my night. The field was at like 50% on Heaney, and I was just like, man, I don't know. Yankee Stadium could be a problem. And then I was watching, and the first inning, I was like, okay, let's go Heaney, throwing a little spunk. Then he gave up back-to-back jacks, and it was all bad from there. Most of his runs were solo shots, though, so it might be something they can fix going forward, but I just didn't think he had the pedigree to be 50% owned. I like if the Yankees caught Jorge Lopez again today, I'd probably go right back to the Yankee stack, but Heaney was the good leverage that I needed to be against, and it worked. What do the Lakers do now? What do the Yankees do now? It's tough, man. I don't want to make excuses, but the Yankees have really been hit with COVID this year. What are you going to do? Cubs and the Rockies. Coors Field, Zach Davies up against Kyle Freeland is our matchup. These are two teams that are really less than menacing, poor offenses, but Coors Field. The Rockies a 6.2 implied run total. Cubs at 5.4. Freeland on the bump for the Rockies, 6,200. Davies at 7,200. I'm probably not going to be all that interested in either pitcher. Freeland can certainly play a little bit of spoiler with his ground ball rate, 45.2% ground ball rate. But in Coors Field, a 175 home run per nine at 304 average allowed and 15.9% K rate. My boy Rafael Ortega. Can we have a conversation? DraftKings. Could we talk about this? Since the Cubs made these transactions and they traded away Baez, Bryant, and Rizzo, we've seen Ortega lead off for them, and he's gotten us several double-digit fantasy points. He's on 3 games in a row where he's gotten double-digit fantasy points. He has shown pop, homers in his last 2 games, 3 in his last 1 game, some stolen base potential, and he's been crushing it. In his last game against the Washington Nationals, he was 2,700, dropped 3 home runs, 49 DKP. How is he $100 less leading off in Coors Field, or potentially leading off in Coors Field? That makes no sense. What is the algorithm on here? I gotta play him. He's been my boy. He's been good to me. It's not like I'm running against his lefty-lefty matchup, but the opportunity cost of 2,600. That's there. Maybe he draws too much ownership. We push back because the failure rate in baseball is high enough. But my goodness, man, I think he deserves a higher price point, especially if we adjust for Park. Willson Contreras, 5,100 on DraftKings. He's the only professional level Cubs player or baseball player on the Cubs team. Look at this, a lot of red. So, Cubs really don't stick out to me as a stack. I mean, they were horrendous against the Nats. That last game, I tweeted out the box score. Ortega was the only starter that had a hit, and he happened to have 4 of them. Or 3 or 4 of them. Everyone else was shut out, and there was like a pinch hit from like Austin Romine. This team is bad. It's really bad. Now, with that said, there's always a puncher's chance for Patrick Wisdom to get into one. He lands in a lineup or 2. Yeah, I'm with it. Willson Contreras feels really expensive at 5-1 as a catcher, but he's a big league level player. The rest of this lineup is, if you're on it, you're on it. If you're stacking it because it's Coors, you're stacking it because it's Coors. It's hard to really be excited about this, especially since there's a lot of strikeouts involved. So, could you ever get to Kyle Freeland? I feel like I'm my boy Greg from Osimo. Like he has a Kyle Freeland thing, man. I bet he's got some Kyle Freeland today. 6,200 on Freeland, 17% K rate. Could you get 6 strong out of Freeland? Could you sneak a quality start and a win as a SP2? Sure. I don't think I get the Cubs. Now, Zach Davies pushing it back here. A guy that hasn't allowed a ton of power. 0.2 home run per 9 on the road. 0.95 overall against lefties. 0.74. Obviously, on the road, it's a little different than at Coors Field. The average is 250 plus, whatever. The xFIP is really, really high. 5.5 xFIP. Again, I don't feel naturally inclined to go after full stack and Rockies. I probably will, just because of the run total, just because I'll have 150 lineups, and it would be somewhat, I don't know, unless they're a chalk, it would be somewhat like a I don't know, mismanage of lineups to not stack a 6+ run total if ownership is low enough. So matchup wise, I mean, I'm just betting on the talent here. In this projected lineup, we have Charlie Blackmon in the leadoff spot. I mean, he's really cheap on both sides. Trevor Story I can get behind. Ryan McMahon, CJ Cron might crack the lineup. Right, it's not like a thick lineup, but it's a little bit better than the Cubs, and the price points are okay. So I'm behind some Rockies exposure, but this game is not a priority. The pitcher's absolutely not a priority. Something in my eye and I can't get it out. And then bats not a priority, but it could easily justify a couple bats here. So Cubs, I could walk away with Ortega, Contreras, Patrick Wisdom, and feel like, okay, I got a shot. And then the Rocky side, Blackmon, Story, McMahon kind of stick out. And then, if you land on some Rogers or CJ Cron, something like that. Chat, what do you guys got before we move on? Hey buddy, appreciate it. I punted last time, but like I said, broke a slate. Trying to take more seriously. No, catcher is definitely a very puntable position. I think all of the pros in DFS would probably tell you that as well. Like, yeah, there's going to be 5K catchers that are cool, but usually the priority is go somewhere else, and if I just grab a catcher that's in my stack, I'm with it. What they thought a park change for Heaney would make it different. So, Lorenzo, when like a team like the Yankees or the Astros or the Dodgers, when teams that are good make trades for pitchers that are average, usually they see something. So for the Yankees, for example, if they see that Heaney dominates with his curveball, but he's only throwing it 15%, well, what if we have him throw it 25%? Can he miss a couple more bats and be that much more impactful? The Astros were turning those type of guys into aces. Maybe in retrospect, the Astros just had spider tack, but all pitching analytic departments are not created equal from organization to organization. So I'm not done with Heaney. I'm just saying we knew that was a outrageous outcome. A fly ball, no matter what, he's a fly ball pitcher, and in Yankee Stadium, it's gonna happen. Did you see Aaron Boone facial expression when Heaney was getting shelled? Yeah, it was tough. What you can do? I got so many Rockies in the early crunchies today with Tyler Mahle as a pitcher. Ooh, that's a for me that feels contrarian, right? I think Zach Wheeler would be the optimal pay up guy, and I guess the Rockies. I don't know what your optimizer or what your projections are based off of. I guess if we're going off of run total, Rockies and Coors is always going to look well in a model. Hoping my Judge and Stanton stack works out with that. It was like, dude, we traded for this guy. Oh, no. I like Heaney. I want that. I like Heaney. I didn't think he was a priority. I'm not done with him because he gave up a couple solo shots in his Yankee Stadium debut. I like him. Padres at the Athletics. Next game on the docket. Blake Snell taking on Sean Manaea. Blake Snell, 8,900 on DraftKings. Manaea, 9,400. I guess DraftKings had a probable tag next to Manaea. So we know the Padres are still without Fernando Tatis. Looks like they could be without him for the rest of the year. This team as a whole, though, still pretty strong against lefties and a lot of low K rates. So I probably am never going to get to a spot where I'm just in love with playing Manaea today. 9,400. I probably would want no less than 20 DKP as a starter. At home, he's averaging 18. Against San Diego in his last start, he dropped 34 on him. I think a lot of people might see that and run back to it. He's got back-to-back 30-plus fantasy point games. I definitely think he's going to crack the pool for me. I want to see if maybe the field's a little bit overreactive to back-to-back positive games. Let me see something here. If you guys got a minute, I want to double check the lineup that he went against in that last start because the Padres have been making a couple of moves. I wonder if that was like a rare no Tatis. I feel like one of those days Machado got a day off too, but I don't want to speculate. Let me pull up that game itself, 728, and I will share it with you guys on the main screen. So if you guys don't know about the DK Live app, I think it's really, really cool. It's a good companion piece to your nightly sweat, but they also have a solid website as well. It will list like KBO scores as well in the baseball, but you can kind of go through box scores, and I love seeing box scores laced with fantasy stuff. So let's go look at this Oakland San Diego box score and the Padres lineup that day. Well, it did have Tatis, who went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Machado was in that lineup. Pham was in that lineup. So it was a lineup very similar to what they had today. It was also Blake Snell. So really, really strong games here. So maybe we dig into the advanced side of these starts. Again, hopefully you guys got a minute. It's the research session. And we go to game logs and we'll really see if he found something. So I'm going to go to plate discipline on the game log. And I really want to see what his swing and strike rate is. 15, 17, 14.6. There was a 6% against the Astros. Astros are a really low K team. And then an 18%. So on the season, Minaya has a 12.7% swing and strike rate. So was even able to, also you take out that Houston game, he's been averaging over his season average in his last 5 of 4 games. So that's really interesting. Let's go to pitch type, pitch value in these games. Well, we'll go to pitch type. What's he throwing? A lot of fastball, sliders here and there, and then the changeup has been almost 30% in a couple of these games. And the grades, he's getting good grade on the fastball, great grade on a slider right now. That has been a massive pitch for him. The changeup, mixed bag of nuts. So, man, is this a strength of schedule thing that involves the Mariners, the Indians, and a bad game from the Padres? Or is he finding something? That's interesting. So I think because it's a plus park, Oakland Coliseum, really, really plus park to suppress power. And that has been, historical problems from homers, especially this year against lefties, 1.5 homer per 9 to lefties. But at home, 1.25. I think if you can tell me there's just mathematically a 1 in 4 K rate, not going to waste pitches. The walk rate's really pristine. Hard contact rate's low. Yeah, Manaya's got to crack the player pool. He just has to. But you have to concede at least that this lineup comes with some risk. At least this projected lineup does. There's not a ton of massive strikeout. Actually, you know what? I had them projected versus an average lefty. Let me go pull up their numbers against or righty. Against lefties, this lineup has 2 guys with a K percentage over 20%. So I think I'm gonna allow Minaya just because of his recent performances, and at least metrically, they all look justified. Right? It didn't look like luck. Let me double check the xFIP in these games. I mean, the xFIP is incredible in these games. So it didn't look like luck. So it looked like he's at least in the last month and a half been a great pitcher. So he's got to make the player pool. It's just a matter of what we do with the exposure levels on him. If we can be happy at 10%, I think I'll start there, or at least cap at 10%. Maybe not get to 10%. But if I had up to 10%, I wouldn't lose sleep, because I do think it's a good park. Blake Snell on the other end, man, I'm kind of done with the Blake Snell experiment for San Diego, at least for fantasy. Maybe this will end up being a mistake. But 8,900, 9K, I really want 20 as a more median outcome here. I mean, you talk about volatility. He is all over the road, swerving, swanging. On the road this season, averaging 6 fantasy points. 1 game against Oakland, he got shelled. I don't have front-end interest here. Do I want to pick on him? Probably a little bit. 4.77 xFIP to righties this season, 277 average allowed, a 1.58 homer per 9, and he's walking righties. So athletics could be set up for some success here. Implied run total about 5. Again, the park's going to make me taper my expectations here. It could just be a boring baseball game, but I'll have a little bit of these bats against Blake. And then Starling Marte, this guy's stealing bags. Then he's stealing bags, and when he's done stealing bags, he's going to steal some more. Just picking up where he left off, and I think he's an incredible addition to the top of this lineup. So you got some pesky hit for average, you got some power out here, and then you got guys that can earn their way on base and then make you sweat and take off running. So give me some athletics exposure. I'm not going to be overcommitted to like the 5-man stacks, but I definitely like some sub stack potential here. What do you guys got? Posey's going to be the catcher to have today. He knows Bum really well. I agree. This morning I didn't see him in the projected lineup, but was hoping that he will be in the lineup. So if that lineup came out, cool. What up, John? Last spot, 4.2K at outfield position. Who are you going to take? On DraftKings, 4.2 outfield position for me. What name? So I guess like that's without context. That's like a tough question to ask because I even if I'm not full stacking, I do like my lineups to reflect correlation. So like if your lineup had Ozzy Albies, maybe I'm looking at Adam Duvall to kind of create the both the pieces of bread on that sandwich. Because I think Duvall's in a fun spot for power. I think Akil Badu in a leadoff spot against a struggling Garrett Richards is a solid spot. But I think right now, without like context, Adam Duvall might be the guy. Or if you trusted Stanton to kind of right the ship, he looks solid. Those are the couple names that hit me first. So yeah, any dog picks today? Any dog picks? Any underdogs so far that I think have a strong chance of winning? I wouldn't be stunned if the Mariners stole one. The Rangers are underdogs, and I wouldn't be stunned if they stole that one because that Angels lineup is looking rough. But I mean, that feels like an actual coin flip. Cardinals are dogs, but I do like the Braves. Nah, I'm not really like super privy on many of these underdogs so far. Maybe the Astros. I definitely like the Astros run total over because they're just not getting any respect on that. But Walker Buehler's good. I'd be more inclined to bet run lines if you're into that. Just some that kind of stick out to me run lines wise is Phillies are at 4.5 runs. I do like the over on that. The Orioles have moved to 4. Yankee Stadium, they got a rookie on the bump. Like that seems a bloop and a blast. They hit a couple blasts yesterday. 4 could push, and maybe they get over that. I liked it better at 3.5 this morning, which is where I got it at. Run totals. There was one more. Oh, the Braves were at 4.5, and I kind of dig the over on that. So maybe those would kind of diversify some parlay tickets for you. Let's move on to the next game. D-backs hosting the Giants. Johnny Cueto taking on Madison Bumgarner. No lineup for the Giants yet. But like I said, in this projected lineup, it has Kirk Casale. So I don't know. Hopefully Buster Posey does start today, but he's not in the projected lineup. So I don't know if there was verbiage to support that. D-backs lineup did come out. We got Josh Van Meter batting leadoff. Asdrubal Cabrera, second spot. Cole Calhoun. Carson Kelly batting cleanup here. This is fun. David Peralta, Christian Walker, Dalton Varsho, Nick Ahmed. And that is our confirmed D-backs lineup. Johnny Cueto is 7K on DraftKings. Kind of a guy I'm not going to be too excited to pitch. 4.13 xFIP on the road this season. 321 average allowed. Line drive rate's kind of elevated. I don't see myself leaning on the D-back stack, but it's just kind of whatever happens. And more so, is there a world where Cueto breaks the slate? Hopefully not, so I'm leaning away from that, but I will concede that this D-backs lineup does not hit for average, and there's plenty of strikeout potential, 22, 24%, 25%. So maybe it's not outlandish to think that Cueto could knock on the door of a 20 bomb, and while I'm saying these strikeout numbers, maybe Cueto at 7K, maybe he gets in there for me. 23, 16, 17, right? Soft landing if he gets you the low end of a 15, 16. Has he pitched against the D-backs? 2 games against the D-backs. He's averaging 7. That's not what you want. But that might be like the Eduardo Escobar D-back. So I don't know. He might land in the back end of a 150. Let's talk about the Giants. The Giants are going to be one of my favorite stacks today. I loved them yesterday. Madison Bumgarner, he's not quite as bad as Lester for me in terms of metrics, but he's definitely somebody that has metrics that support upside. And what I mean by that is home runs are easy to project against a guy that has a 40+% hard contact rate and a 45-ish% fly ball rate of course the last 2 years, and the strikeout rate is manageable if I'm a hitter. So I do like the Giants quite a bit. I mentioned it this morning on the first look video on the channel. Madison Bumgarner's results have definitely outperformed his expected numbers, meaning that even in the games that he's getting good results, it seems like he's getting a little bit lucky. So we'll go look at his game log so I can kind of show you what I'm talking about. Game log on Fangraphs, advanced stats. BABIP last couple games: 190, 333, 083. Left on base at 83% in that Cubs game. That was really solid. The whip is low. But now if we go to the batted ball data, check this out. 5.82 Sierra, 6.14 Sierra. He was solid against the Cubs. A 4.57 Sierra, 6.61 Sierra. The xFIP is through the roof as well. Check out these line drive rates. Against Pittsburgh, 33%, 38% against the Cubs, 36% against the Mets. Fly ball rates up there as well. And then the hard contact, 43, 69 against the Cubs. 69% hard contact rate against the Cubs with a 38.5% line drive rate. Like, are we just finding gloves or like rockets into some mitts out there? Like, this will break eventually, right? This is who he is. There's going to be games where he thrives off of this, but these are numbers that I do think that predictively suggest that every now and then Mad Bum's going to get hit, and if he gets hit and we can get him out of the game 3-4 innings. This bullpen is very, very bad for the D-backs as well, and it'll pay off a stack, and we saw that last night. Giant stack came through late. Names kind of write themselves here. Chris Bryant, easily my favorite Giant to target. Talked about him on the video this morning. And then they have a couple of fun names against the lefties. Wilmer Flores is questionable. I think I saw his name attached. Did he get put on the... I know I saw his name when I checked my Discord this morning. It might have just been an update on his status. Went 1 for 3. All right. So Wilmer Flores, if he does crack the lineup, obviously a perennial lefty master would be somebody I get behind. Austin Slater, Darren Ruff, guys I can roster as well. And then, the Buster Posey question. Is Posey going to play today? If he does, he absolutely is somebody I'm interested in. We talked about the fun history that he has caught Mad Bum before. I don't think that is as strong of a feat as perceived, right? Like catch a pitcher if you're looking for a certain delivery or a tip or something like that, but it's just like fun, and Posey's just good. So if Posey's in that lineup, I'm like that. If he's not in the lineup, we might look at Kurt Casali as the catcher. He has one of the higher bomb ratings of all the catchers on the slate, and there's a lot of 4+ers on the bomb detector. 4.19 for Slater, 4.4 for Chris Bryant. I think Chris Bryant this morning, he had the highest bomb detector rating on the entire slate. With Darren Ruff, is liable to get subbed out, kind of be platooned in and out of games. But Chris Bryant is looking like one of my favorite plays in all formats, and I'm in on the Giants. I definitely want that lineup to come out because I do think there's some variance in what that lineup could be versus what it's projected to be now. Like we could even see like a Donovan Solano crack the lineup if Wilmer Flores ain't there, and I'm in on Solano. So we'll look at that, but I do like the Giants quite a bit. What do we got? What about Franmil Reyes to Dong? Home run Franmil Reyes. I mean, he's got pop and power. I don't think the Indians are near the front end of my interest here, but just to revisit his particular matchup for today, Hunyin Ryu against righties, a 250 average, 126 home run per 9. It's possible, but the hard contact rate's kind of low. The ground ball rate's kind of high. So when we're trying to project homers, we like to see, I'll tell you the secret sauce of the bomb detector. I really weight pull rates, fly ball rates, line drive rates, and hard contact. So pre-flop, it's not there for him, but Franmil's Franmil. So what I would say is, for a DFS standpoint, if you had a bunch of lineups and you want to chip and chair him to hit a bomb, sure. But I probably would never bet it. I'm not really a guy that bets home run props anyway. We got one game left on the docket. Take a pause for the cause. If you guys want access to this spreadsheet, expedite your daily research sessions, and get access to my player pool, my strikeout props, the bomb detector, it is a perk of having a premium subscription at rundfs.com. Go over there, get signed up. get a VIP pass. Try out the week pass. Not only do you get access to this spreadsheet, but all the spreadsheets I do, NFL, basketball during your live sub, and most importantly, the RunDFS.com VIP Discord looking a little something like this. We have guys at every bankroll level, man. You balling on a budget, go take down them quarter arcades, the nickels, whatever. Cool. We got guys grinding single entries. We got guys just grinding the sports betting book. And I always got to shout them out, right? If you have a guy in your community that has won, not one, but 2 milli makers, you shout him out. Always be placing as binked the NFL milli maker in December. He binked the golf milli maker a couple months ago. We have literal millionaires in this Discord, and there are no egos, man. It is a community. You guys, if you've been playing DFS a week, 10 years, man, we'd love to have you. Just be cool, vibe out, and enjoy each other's success, and we love to have you. Every day before lock, I'm hanging out in the voice chat for about 2 hours, talking plays, carving out my player pool, and bouncing questions off each other, and we're just shooting a breeze, right? Bunch of dudes. So love to have you. Dodgers are not hosting the Dodgers, they're hosting the Astros. Astros have one of the lower run totals that you'll see them have as a team. And this reminds me of the other day. They had like a 3.5 run total against Kevin Gossman, maybe. And they they threatened that really quick. So I think that it's a little disrespect for them to have this low of a run total. I do think, obviously, Walker Buehler is really, really good. But man, that's like, I don't think it's a 50-50 bet. So I'm going to go look at something real quick. Teams 2021. I'm going to split this, and I want to see just in general how the Astros have been. I guess we'll split it against righties, and then let's do a couple. WRC plus for teams overall. Houston's number 1, period, in the league. Split that to on the road. So we'll click away. We'll go advanced. And then we'll go WRC plus. On the road, Houston, number 1, point blank. And then I guess we'll go against righties. And we'll give you 3 splits for the league. Houston is it looks like 119 for each one. So I don't know if that was pulling up how I want it to pull up, but essentially Houston's really good. So that's what I like, 3.5 as their run total. Like from a betting standpoint, I probably put a quarter on the over every time, almost regardless of who's pitching. From a real life standpoint, Dodgers, Astros, there's some bad blood here. These teams do not like each other, and this Dodgers fan base should show up and show out and let the Astros hear it. That could have a combustible result, as we saw in the Yankee game, but should be fun to watch. Good television. You probably see inflatable trash cans get thrown into the field, something like that. Pitching wise, Lance McCullers on the bump for the Astros, 31% against righties, 23.9% against lefties. This is a tough Dodgers matchup. Low K rates, high hit for averages, plenty of power. So he's going to have to bring his best stuff. And if he doesn't have it, if he turns into McCullers of yesteryear where he's not finding the strike zone, he has a 14.4% walk rate to lefties right now, almost a 10% to righties. Like, he could waste some pitches, and because of that, I'm probably not that invested in the thought of him being a priority play for me. And I don't know if he's going to crack my pitching pool when it's all said and done. Like, it's one of those spots where if you had him in your lineup, you showed us, hey, Gun, what do you think about this? I'm like, hey, if you're there, you're there. Don't let me get you off of it. But I don't think I'm there right now, just because the Dodgers look so menacing, and this is getting dangerous. Mookie Betts back in the mix here. Justin Turner, Trey Turner still, I think, on the COVID protocol, but they did get Corey Seager back, so this is looking like a stanky team. And then Walker Buehler has been on a run for the Dodgers, and we talked about the NL Cy Young and the MVP conversation getting a little bit interesting now that there's no Tatis, Acuna, and maybe Jacob deGrom and Buehler. I think Zach Wheeler's up there, Trey Turner's up there, but Buehler could maybe enter the chat if he has a really strong finish to the season. So I think it's an inspired spot to play some baseball against the Astros, but it's a tough matchup both ways. So I have very, very tempered expectation for both pitchers, and kind of the same for the offenses. I do think I would stack both offenses because I do think this is going to have a different energy, but it's going to be low equity involvement. Maybe like I split 5%, 8% Astros Dodgers, and I'm just kind of betting on the talent to come up, and show out, because I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. But pre-flop, it's strong pitchers, it's strong hitters. You can understand why there's many ranges of outcomes to kind of play out here. See what you guys got here. I guess I'll try. I want to get off the air before before Osmo goes live, so you guys can go catch that start to finish. What's the best option? DK at second base. Is Ozzy Albies second base eligible? Yeah, for me, it's Ozzy Albies. Chat, if you guys are getting out of here, man, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up before you do. For those of you that want to hang out for just a second, I'll update some lineups and maybe see if that changes some thoughts. Otherwise, we'll be back at it tomorrow. I'll have the first look video. I didn't look at my calendar, but as long as there's a sizable main slate, and I think Wednesday there will be, we'll do the same format. First look video in the morning, waiting on you when you wake up, and then we'll be back at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central for the stream. So yeah, if you're heading out, go check out the Osmo stream. Love you guys. Hit that thumbs up. Those of you that are sticking around for just a minute, we'll update some lineups here and see if that changes anything. And then yeah, Phillies lineup did come out. Gene Segura is batting leadoff, and Rhys Hoskins is in the lineup batting second. So this is already feeling better, and I think that, I don't know if I mentioned the over on their run total, the 4.5, but I'm kind of digging that. Harper batting third, Real Muto batting cleanup, Alec Boehm batting fifth, former Yankee great Ronald Torreyes batting sixth, Odubel Herrera batting seventh, Lucas Williams in the 8th spot, and then of course our boy Zach Wheeler still on the bump. Nats lineup came out. Andrew Stevenson is batting leadoff, Adrian Sanchez in the 2 spot, Juan Soto batting third. By the way, if you guys do have any lasting questions, comments, concerns that you want me to address, I'll wrap it up once I get all these updated. So fire them away in chat, and then I'll tackle them. Carter Kieboom, Luis Garcia, and Trust Barrera. So yeah, they really can't do much to make this lineup look that great. It's still Soto and Bell, so nothing has changed in my opinion on Zach Wheeler. Yankees lineup came out. DJ LeMahieu, Anthony Rizzo batting second, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo batting cleanup with Joey Gallo batting fifth. And then we have Gary Sanchez. My goodness, good luck. Look at this lineup, man. Lefty, Jesus. Rougned Odor batting eighth, and then Greg Allen getting a start in the outfield over Brett Gardner. That's what you want. I'm still there on the Yankee stack. I'm probably not dabbling with either pitcher again. Indians lineup did come out, confirmed. Leadoff, Miles Straw, Rosario, J-Ram, Franmil, Ramirez, Bradley. Oscar Mercado is batting seventh. Roberto Perez in the 8th spot, and then Ernie Clement. Doesn't really change the needle on me. If you want to get some J-Ram, Franmil, go for it. But I still probably have some Ryu in the mix. Mets, Marlins lineups did not come out. We do have a Mariners lineup. They're going to lead off J.P. Crawford, Mitch Haniger, Seager, France, Toro, Fraley. Jared Kelnick is batting 7th. Cal Raleigh, the catcher, batting 8th, and then Jake Bauers in the lineup. So if you were on Patino, I mean, that doesn't really make it a worse lineup. Definitely some strikeouts to be had here. We already had the Rays lineup. Nothing's changed there. Reds and Twins, nothing's changed. Tigers, nothing's changed. No Red Sox lineup. Angels lineup was already out. We did get a Rangers lineup. Isaiah Connor for Leffert, Culberson, Garcia, Nate Lowe, Andy, I took a pill, and Ibanez. DJ Peters is batting 6th. Curtis Terry, we don't trust people with 2 first names, you know that. And then Jose Trevino in the 9th spot. So Rangers lineup still bad, Angels lineup still bad. That game exists. Whatever happens, happens. White Sox lineup came out. Tim Anderson, Cesar Hernandez, Jose Abreu. Eloy Jimenez is batting cleanup, not Moncada. That's interesting. Moncada's still in the lineup, batting 6th. So take that for what it's worth. Andrew Vaughn batting 7th. Garcia, Sebi Zavala in the 9th spot. I'm still in on the White Sox stack, but that's a little bit of a curveball. I thought Moncada was going to be batting top 4, but a bump for Eloy Jimenez that might grade them out a little bit better in some optos. Pirates lineup is out. Hoy Park, former Yankee great, literally traded or DFA'd or traded a couple days ago before that. I think it was Clay Holmes. Rodolfo Castro. What is this? This is a start to a lineup. Key Brian Hayes, Ben Gamel, John Nagowski, Gregory Polanco, Kevin Newman. This is a really shake up. I mean, it's the same lineup. They really shook it up. And Michael Perez is your Pirates lineup. Cool. Nothing changed there. I don't love Hauser. I don't love the Pirates stack. Everything else is the same, right? No other confirmed lineups. So D-backs lineup was confirmed, and we already had that. So what do you guys got in chat before we get out of here and get caught up? I like this format, Gun. I've been keeping up with both shows. I appreciate that. Appreciate you, boys. Favorite FanDuel pitcher as of right now. So it's probably got to be Zach Wheeler, right? He's got one of the highest pitch counts on the slate. You could probably see 100 bullets from him. FanDuel definitely egregiously prices guys low. Like they'll price a pitcher high, but then there's a bunch of low guys. So he definitely has a world where he goes 7 innings, 100 plus pitches, and now every start matters to him, right? Cy Young is obtainable, and the matchup is really, really soft. So I like his team to get the win on Corbin. I like the quality start and win bonus potential. I like the strikeout potential. So it's probably gonna be Zach Wheeler overall. Yankees feast to Fram at 100%. Do you like a Baltimore stack tonight? Yeah, I think we could stack the unknown. I maybe don't get to a 5-man stack, but three, like you could see 3 homers from the Orioles side, just kind of like we saw last night. Cedric Mullins has been killing the Yankees this year in Yankee Stadium. Last night again, Mancini, Mountcastle. I don't think we addressed the Mancini Mountcastle debacle in DraftKings where they're both first base. So you do kind of have to make a decision there. You can't really play them both. But yeah, I would probably get behind maybe a sub stack, right? I probably don't ever have a 5-man Orioles stack, but you could sell me on 3 in a lineup, especially Santander, 2K potentially betting cleanup. I mean, that's just really, really cheap. And that's it, man. Appreciate you guys. Hit that thumbs up on your way out, man. You guys are actually awesome. We have a really, really deep schedule for content on this channel. We have the membership program relaunching. There's going to be exclusive videos, some strategy stuff over there. So exclusive streams when NFL comes, when NBA comes. So yeah, if you guys want to show even more support than you're already doing, you don't have to, but we will have that up for a little extra content. That's in the join button below. Otherwise, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord up until lock. There's a lot of baseball tonight. So get all the information you can. Go check out the Osmo stream, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So I hope you crush it tonight. As always, good luck. God bless, and go win some money.